What's good, everybody? It's another night, a little on the tired side, so let's jump right into the topic. The topic tonight is breaking through plateaus. Eventually you will hit a plateau, right? Probably like earlier on in your game, but it doesn't matter. You're always going to be hitting plateaus in Jiu-Jitsu. Jiu-Jitsu is an emotional roller coaster. Some days you're loving it, some days you just want to commit suicide and just end your life instead of dealing with it again. Or just throw your gi in the trash and just say, I don't want to do this anymore. But anyways, my experience with plateaus, it's going to go both ways and it's going to get confusing almost, because sometimes if you go into a training session and you have no objective in mind, like you have no idea what you're going to do, you're just like, fuck it, I'm not really into it, well, that right there, that's going to set you up for a plateau. Which is, it's normal not to be into it every night you train, especially if you have kids and you're like my age and you work and all that good shit, right? But you can't do that every time you train. But if you kind of go in and you have no mindset of what you're going to do, I'm just going to roll. I'm just going to see what happens. Although sometimes some awesome rolls can come out of that. I just had some great rolls with a buddy of mine today. Thank you for that. And I even told him before we rolled, I was like, I got no fucking clue what I'm doing tonight, man, or today. I said, let's just roll, see what happens. And cool things can happen. But if you're, let's say you're, a white belt, the whole game's a plateau. So don't even stress. If you're stressed out because you just feel like you're not getting anywhere, trust me, as long as you're tapping, you're getting somewhere, It's if you're letting your arms snap because you're too damn tough and you don't want to let things happen, then yeah, you're never going to grow. The more you tap, the more you learn. Just like if you compete in tournaments or if you fight or anything like that, sometimes, as much as it sucks losing, which I'm never happy about that, but at least take something away from it. Anyway, so how do you overcome it? Well, make a goal when you train, make a goal. A particular move you've been working on, no matter what happens in the roll, get back to that position where you can try to impose your will using that particular technique. And a lot of times what will happen is you're so focused on that one technique, right, that you think to yourself, I got to get back to this technique. Well, this technique for me to do, let's say it's an omoplata, right, and I want to get the omoplata from the closed guard. Well, you pass my guard, or you get into my half guard and you pass, or you mount, let's say. Okay, so you mount. I know I need to get back to my closed guard because I got to get this omoplata from that position. So, bang, I recover the guard. Now I start working again to try to, let's say I'm working the Williams guard. So I recover and I grab and I'm trying to work that omoplata again. So, as much as you're focused on one move, without thinking about it, you just sharpened up your escape game. You just recovered your guard quicker because you're focusing in that one direction. At the same time, though, and this is where it becomes like me rambling, sometimes you have a mindset like, unless you're cool with it, if you're more experienced, which, some of you out there, I'm sure a lot of you are, like some nights I'm gonna take mount, and I'm gonna focus on the mounted triangle. Younger belts, when you do this, sometimes you're so focused that you don't realize the guy's giving you a perfect arm bar, or he's giving you a perfect collar choke, or an Ezekiel, whatever you have, or an Americana, whatever. You're just so focused on that move, you don't realize how much shit he just gave you. Now, that can kind of shoot you in the ass a little bit. If you're a higher belt, you acknowledge that this is happening, but your focus is, I'm going for the mounted triangle. So, that's a little different. So, there's one option for you. If you're stuck in a plateau, maybe it's because you're not putting really any thought into how you want to train. Even if it's, for this whole week, I'm just going to focus on guard passing. I'm going to focus on blocking the hip and maybe just doing some fancy standing passes, or I'm going to work on some smash passes. But that's your goal. You work on that, and whatever happens after that, who gives a shit? You made your goal. Or, you pass, you let them put you back in guard, and you work your pass again. That's how you kind of break through that plateau, is you gave yourself a goal, an objective, and something to focus on. And then on the flip side of that, let's say all you're focused on is one thing. Well, sometimes if you're trying to work a move and you don't really have all the fundamentals down, you just kind of keep banging your head. Sometimes you're locking yourself, you haven't like expanded. Like, for example, let's say, okay, I'm working my guard pass this whole week. All right, the week went well. I didn't really do so great with my guard passes. Next week, do I do the same thing? Nah, fuck it. I need to mix it up because I need to continue learning. I need to continue focus on other moves and see where I'm going to go. Now, this is me. Some people might just be fanatic about just focusing on one technique all the time. But, I don't know. I would say it slows me down. It's going to slow me down. So, it almost sounds like I'm going back and forth with the same comment. So, feel free to comment and tell me how you've broken through plateaus, because it's inevitable. You're all going to hit plateaus. We all do. It's just like anything you do. You're going to hit plateaus. And sometimes just things get old. And when it gets old, mix it up. So sometimes, hypothetically, if I'm stuck on a plateau, and I've been changing my goals every week, but I'm like, man, I just feel fucking retarded on the mat. You know what? Take a breather for a little while. Stop giving a shit, about what your game is. Stop. Just flow. Because like today when I trained with my buddy Dave, we just flowed. Now we went aggressive, but we flowed. And it's like, man, you just start finding all sorts of shit, and you're like, holy fuck, I didn't even know I knew how to do that technique. You just find yourself in awesome positions. And now, that's the great thing about Jiu-Jitsu, is you're starting to learn movements, right? The better you get, the more movements you know. But sometimes if you've never been in those positions, or you've never spun your body around a certain way, you didn't know your body could do that. So you don't play that. But when you just let your mind go free and you just try shit, a lot of cool things can happen, because now if you tap, you tap, who cares? I was talking about this with a buddy today. Don't be that guy, especially if you're a higher belt, a blue belt, a purple belt, whatever, and up, God forbid, even higher. Give the guy who's a lower belt, or whoever he is, who gives a shit? You're training. Work your escape. Let's say you can't get a technical triangle escape. So out of frustration, you're just going to stack the guy and slam him on the back of his head and crush his neck and maybe blow his neck out. Well, at least I got out of the triangle. This guy can't turn his neck all night, and probably he's going to be in pain for the next couple weeks, and his training is going to suck because of what I just did. But at least I didn't get tapped. Oh, fuck me, I'm an asshole. Yeah, not cool, man. Not cool. Just, who gives a shit? He's your training partner. Pat him on the back and say, damn, dude, that was pretty good. I could have done some dirty shit. I could fucking punch you right in the balls if you catch me in an armbar. Am I going to do that? No, that's not really how the game's played. No, I could fucking stomp on your face. I'd probably get out of that armbar. I might hurt my elbow in the process. I'd probably get out. But is that right? No, man. Use your technique. If he got you, he's got you. Tap out and say, good job, man. Good training. You just reminded me that I need to be smarter about my arms. I'm doing shit wrong. So that's a little bit off the subject, but who cares? It's where I usually go, is off subject all day long anyway. So anyway, guys, I'm approaching 9 minutes of this video. I'm really trying to keep these things under 10 minutes, especially since I have to come up with ideas every night. But, I think my next idea will be, I don't have enough time to drill. People will say, I don't have enough time to drill. When can I drill? You can drill every day of your life. Let me give you an example. If you go to the movies with your pretty lady or your pretty boyfriend or your dog or your cat, whatever the fuck you do, while you're walking down the aisle with your popcorn, do some forward rolls. Fuck it. Do some forward rolls down the aisle. When you leave the movie theater, shrimp your ass right the way out the back door. Hip escape all day. When you're having a little bit of boom boom with the wife, practice the double underhook stack. Pass. Get a leg drag. Ladies and gentlemen, these moves are always there. You can drill anytime. Anytime. Just make time. So I guess I don't really have to make a topic about that. There we go. We just covered that. Alright, fellas, ladies, and whoever the hell else is listening to me right now. Have a good night. Feel free to like my shit, comment, or or just be a fucking coward. Whatever.